Go ahead. Turn it up. It's the Record Machine Show with your host, Jimmy Howe.
I can't change the way I am. I'm never gonna be your kind of man. I see the storm coming round. It's time for me to leave this town. Won't you love takes me from you? It's the life I live, the life I choose. Can't you see? I see you everywhere I go. You're the light that's shining deep down in my soul. But I can't change the way I am. I'm never gonna be your kind of man. You see those tears you've been crying while I'm under the stage lights, burning to shine. Things were different just yesterday. When you came and you loved everything I sang. Can't you see? I see you everywhere I go. You're the light that's shining deep down in my soul. But I can't change the way I am. I'm never gonna be your kind of man. Change the way I am. I'm never gonna be your kind of man. I'm never gonna be your kind of man.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome singer-songwriter John Vento to the program. John, how you been?
Oh, good, man. How about you?
Pretty good, man. It's been a couple of years since we spoke.
Yeah. When Michael reminded me of the interview this morning, I said to myself, time flies.
It's been 3 years since the last time we spoke.
Oh, so that was before the C word?
Yep. Sure was.
Yeah. Everybody well on your end?
Yeah, everybody's good. I think I told you I moved to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Yes,
I already lived
did.
here when I talked to you.
Yeah. How is it down there?
It's cold today. I mean, well, probably not. You'll probably laugh. You'll laugh at my idea of cold. It's 35.
Yeah, we're actually inching forward at 20 degrees today. It's balmy.
Wow.
Yeah, because we had that thing last weekend. It was like -2 degrees.
Yeah, it's definitely colder up closer to where you are. That's for sure. Because I remember all the winters I had in Jersey. I didn't like it.
No, and how about those poor people in Buffalo, man?
I know. And you see people were looting the stores. I saw that in the paper this morning.
They're just animals. I mean, look, they're animals. They have no moral compass.
Yeah.
None of it makes sense. It's like, I don't get it.
Me neither.
I couldn't imagine behaving like that.
Nope. You would think people would want to go out and help, not cause more problems.
Yeah, it's just...
It's
just terrible. In a community like Buffalo, I mean, I'm a football fan, and I'm rooting for the Bills for the Super Bowl all the way this year.
Me too. I'm a Bills fan. I've been a Bills fan since 1980, so I've
oh, really?
Yeah, I've suffered a lot.
Okay.
But I'm looking forward to seeing them maybe win one in my lifetime. I've seen them lose 4 in a row.
I know.
Back in the 90s, so.
I know. That was heartbreaking.
Yeah, how was your Christmas or your holidays?
Nice. Christmas was nice. No, everything's moving along. As a matter of fact, as I speak to you, I'm on my way to the studio.
Nice. Now,
in the home stretch of a new record.
The last time I spoke to you was March of 2019. Since then, you've been working on this album brick by brick, and you're on the way to the studio right now to do it.
Yeah. So we're looking at 4 years coming up.
Wow.
If that was 19, March of 19,
right,
and we got 23 fast approaching.
Uh-huh.
Wow. That's hard to believe, but I'm on my way to the studio to actually finally wrap it up, 14 tracks. So if I spoke to you in March of 19, then I had just started the project.
Right. So tell me a little bit about this album.
Long time coming, and it's a follow-up to... or the album that we released prior to that was Love, Lust, and Other Wreckage.
Right.
That did real well.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of thematic and had a consistency in writing, and the subject matters were about relationships and failure and love and all that stuff, and lust, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brick by Brick is the complete opposite of that. It's each song stands alone. And oh my goodness, it's collaborated with a bunch of writers, bunch of different musicians. It's everything opposite of a thematic approach to creating music.
Wow.
So yeah, it's I'm excited, and we got a little heavier too. 3 or 4 tracks are more straight ahead rock and roll that I've never really done before.
Mm-hmm. And there's a couple of covers on there too, right?
There was going to be 2 covers.
Okay.
Buffalo Springfield, For What It's Worth,
mm-hmm.
and Harry Chapin's Taxi.
Okay.
But I've decided there'll be no covers on the final version of the album when it gets released.
Nice. So those will just be singles then?
Yeah, then they've already been released. But it's funny, taking this approach,
mm-hmm.
it kind of it morphs as time goes by. Instead of, like I said, when we did Love, Lust, and Other Wreckage, I was so focused on that thematic approach, so focused on making sure each piece of music fit with the other pieces. And there was a serious deadline, and there was a stage play that was going to spin off of that, and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
This thing has been really, brick by brick, has been completely organic.
Nice.
Design build, if you will.
Very cool. This podcast is going to feature 2 of your tracks, Sweet Cheslie and Not Your Kind of Man. Can you tell me the story behind those 2 songs?
Yeah, well, they're both on the album, and obviously have been released as singles. Well, Sweet Cheslie, I really didn't want to record that song. As a matter of fact, when the idea was presented to me by my writing partner, Matt Wohlfarth, the subject matter is the suicide of Cheslie Kryst,
mm-hmm.
who, by the way, was, I believe, from South Carolina or North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
She was a Miss USA. She was a TV personality, a model, a gorgeous, wonderful young woman who, at the age of 30, jumped off of a 60-story building in downtown in Manhattan, New York City, and committed suicide.
That's terrible.
And it is terrible, and it's a subject that is, that we all maybe don't want to face, and it's a prevalent crisis in our society. Right. And when Matt presented this to me in a sheet of lyrics and a concept, and I was like, oh, well, that's not for me. I want to keep it upbeat. But then the more I studied her, Cheslie Kryst, and the more I looked at those lyrics and how haunting they were, and I realized that I know people that have committed suicide. I know indirectly people that have. It's heartbreaking.
Exactly, yeah.
And so together with Matt and a great young artist here in Pittsburgh, Shane McLaughlin, we went to work on it, and recorded it, and released it last September in Suicide Prevention Month, which is September, and we released the video to support the song. Mm-hmm. So that's the story of that one.
Okay, but about Not Your Kind of Man.
Oh, that's I love that song because that used to be my theme song. You meet these women and they're all excited about the fact that you're involved in music and you have a band and you go on the road and you do gigs and blah blah blah. And that excitement usually lasts all of about 6 months.
Yep.
And so I had written those lyrics, years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And had just struggled to find the right piece of music. And I had made failed attempts at creating that song.
Mm-hmm.
And then together with my producer, David Granati, I decided to, he had some sketches of the song, like a bunch of different demos.
Mm-hmm.
And finally it clicked one day and we went kind of like hokey country, if you will.
Yep.
And there's not even any drums on the song. It's all hand claps and foot stomping.
Yep.
It's I haven't sung that one in a while.
Great song.
Not Your Kind of Man. So it's fun. It's fun. And there's a lot of innuendo in there. And again, we had a really great supporting video for that track.
Yeah. Now, how do you approach songwriting? What is your creative process like?
Everybody does it different. I just saw a video the other day, a very old video of Elton John and how Tiny Dancer, Bernie Taupin put those lyrics in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
And how they leaped off the page, and he sat at the piano, and blah, 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 blah. And I decided to do this, and I decided to do that. And in 15 minutes, I had Tiny Dancer. That's called brilliance and a gift from God when those get right for those guys.
Yep.
For me, it starts with a concept of something I want to sing about, a piece of music. Like, for example, I was watching The Sopranos about 7 months ago, a rerun, of course, and there was this obscure Stephen Van Zandt song that was played, and I brought that song to the studio to David and said, I've got an idea that I've got some lyrics that might work with a song that stylistically fits this. So that's typically, how we collaborate. That the lyrics kind of push the birth and the creation.
Mm-hmm.
Because the lyrics tell you the tempo, it tells you the style of music. Like, for example, Sweet Cheslie, it was obvious that's a somber subject.
Right.
It's acoustically based. But the new stuff we're working on, like the title track, Brick by Brick, which I haven't released, Ain't No Sin to Rock and Roll. We're talking about 3-chord, big guitar, big drums, and that's what kind of drives where we go with the music. Sometimes I have a melody in my head. Not that often. It's normally like, here's some lyrics, and we try to create stylistically where we're going to go with it.
Very cool. Now, you mentioned music videos before, and you have several of them on your YouTube page, John Vento Music, including the one for the single Sweet Cheslie, which is also linked to Suicide Hotline and Chat Room. Now, have you heard any positive feedback from the family or any of people that you may have inspired by making this song and this video?
Well, that's a great question. Matt Wohlfarth, who was my primary co-writer on that, he reached out to some folks that knew the family. See, we did not, because she's a public figure, we did not ask for permission to do the song.
Okay.
And that was a little bit weird for me because it's such a touchy subject.
Right.
But we treated the song and the video with really a lot of care and a lot of love. So we tried to walk that fine line of being respectful and loving, but at the same time to get her story out. Locally, yes, I've met some families who have seen the video and were touched by it.
Okay.
And of course, we have that message at the end of the video with my friend Karen. So it's, I didn't even know until I did the song that Karen had lost a niece.
Wow.
To suicide. So, yeah, it's sad.
It sure is. So when you write a song like that, even if you help one person, I mean, it's got to be rewarding for you, correct? Oh,
absolutely. Of course. That's, as Karen says at the end of the video, where if you're even considering, or anybody that is considering ending their life, please reach out for help. So, and we wouldn't know, YouTube put that warning. They kind of blocked the video.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how that affected more people seeing it. I really don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of like a warning label, but once you agree to proceed in the video, you can watch it. But I thought,
and it's certainly not offensive sexually or
not at all.
Violence or anything like that.
You're singing in about a sensitive topic, but I mean, it's something that everyone should know about. I mean, it affects a lot of people every day.
Oh man, way more than I realized until I did it. Exactly. Way more.
You're working on this album brick by brick. Do you plan on doing any shows?
Oh, definitely. Well, I've got the Needs Hotel Band, my band, my only band for live performance, and we have a ton of original music also. So I have a bunch of shows with the Needs Hotel Band booked already for the new year. But I definitely want to do a significant CD release show in the spring for Brick by Brick, and I want to include as many of the great musicians that have contributed on the show.
That would be cool.
And I've got so many. I mean, we've got harmonica players and violin players and different guitar players and drummers, and so it becomes a little bit trickier to plan such a thing. But I want to recognize and include everyone that poured their heart and soul into the album, for sure.
Awesome. Now, are you working on any other projects that you want to talk about besides this album?
Yeah, I've got two other things musically based. About 2.5 years ago, the Needs Hotel Band went to an historic abandoned steel mill here in Pittsburgh. And we took a tour of the facility. And when I say historic, we're talking about something that was built by a guy named Andrew Carnegie, who you may have heard of.
Yes.
Right? So, and it's been abandoned for years. And the curator of this steel mill took us on a tour, and we filmed it. And then we set the band up inside the steel mill.
Wow. And
did like a short set of seven or eight songs, and we multi-tracked that. And we're finally revisiting. Actually just had all the tracks mixed last week.
Nice.
And Jim Patolsky, who's going to be the filmmaker, is starting to, basically the story here in Pittsburgh is that not only did all of these steel mills go away, but so did the live music. It's dead too.
Wow.
Because, when you have all these steel workers working 3 shifts, and they would go to all these clubs and bars, and rock and roll was alive and well, man. We had hundreds of live music venues that are gone. There's just a handful left. So the steel mills are gone, and so is most of the live rock and roll.
Wow.
And young people today aren't doing it, but they're not banging away in their garages like, we used to do.
Nope, not at all. So when is this going to be out?
I'm sorry?
The project in the steel mill, when is that going to be released?
Oh, that's called the Carry Furnace. We hope to have that released for the summer.
Okay.
And then the other project, after we released our album, Love, Lust, and Other Wreckage, that spun into a stage play of the same name.
Nice.
But I wasn't real excited, or, honestly, I didn't know much about theater. It took on a life that I wasn't really thrilled with. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
So I'm revisiting the script, revisiting the story, and I'm hoping to record and release an audio book, or if you will, an old-time radio recording.
Nice.
And I hope to have that done next year, probably late in the fall or winter.
Very cool.
So, yeah. So, I've got a bunch of good stuff happening through music and a lot of good people that I am blessed to collaborate with.
That's awesome. Now, if you could do a collaboration with anybody, who would it be and why? Living or dead? Yes, sir.
Okay, well, my musical hero is Harry Chapin.
Yeah, I figured you'd say
so that's a no-brainer. Yeah. I met Harry, and we may have discussed this 3 years ago when I talked to you, but in 1981, I sat next to him on a plane, totally unexpected.
Nice.
And that conversation made an impact on my life and my commitment to charitable work, because, of course, that's how Harry lived his life. But I mean, there's a long list.
Now, what is it about music that makes you feel passionate?
Wow, that was the toughest question you've ever asked me. First of all, it's in my blood. My mother's family go all the way back to the late 1800s as far as being professional musicians.
Mm-hmm.
I like to say on my mother's side, they were either all professional musicians or professional gamblers or both.
Wow.
And we have some famous musicians in our bloodline. My great cousin Ron Anthony toured with Frank Sinatra and recorded with Sinatra for many years.
Nice.
He was a jazz guitarist. And my great uncle Louis Amon was Mayor LaGuardia. You might know that name, LaGuardia, from New York City.
Of course. Louis
Amon was Mayor LaGuardia's private pianist in the 20s and 30s. So, it's kind of like breathing. Music is like life.
No, it's a good answer.
And it's just part of your DNA and the creation. I don't know I think I get more excited to create original music than I do performing, but they're close. They're both important to me.
Therapeutic, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it shuts, it allows you to compartmentalize and maybe leave some serious troubles behind for a little bit.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that. Now, do you have a website you'd like to promote?
Yeah, I've got a couple of them. JohnVento.com,
mm-hmm.
VENTO, JohnVento.com, and my band, the Needs, NIEDS, NeedsHotelBand.com.
Very cool. Now, when these releases come out, your site will update, like when the new album's coming out and the performance that you did in the steel mill. That'll all be posted up on the site when it's ready, right?
Yeah, and all the social media places. I need to, no pun intended,
mm-hmm.
I need to do a little updating on the site because I had made a commitment to release a new original song every month.
Uh-huh.
And I was on track there a little bit, but I came to the realization that compromised the work.
Gotcha.
And decided to stop that process and just let things breathe and happen organically.
Mm-hmm. Now, is there anything you'd like to mention that we didn't talk about today?
I mean, you're good. You covered the whole gamut, the new album, live performance. Got a chance to talk about Harry Chapin briefly. I'm a happy dude, man.
That's awesome, man. Well, John, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show again. It's been too long. We got to do it again this year when the album comes out.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Let's not wait so long.
Yeah, can't believe it. 4 years have gone by.
Yeah, if it was 19, it's 4 years.
It was March of 2019 when I spoke with you.
Wow.
So yeah, 4 years, man. But I really appreciate you coming on the show, John, and I dig the tunes that I've heard so far. You're welcome, and I want to wish you the best of luck with this album, and have a happy and safe New Year, all right?
Thank you. Same to you, and stay warm down there. No, don't freeze.
I will, buddy.
All right. All right. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
You too. Take care, buddy.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Living in a city of 8 million, but you still somehow felt alone, searching for that rest and peaceful feeling. May your light continue to shine. Oh, sweet Cheslie, why didn't you just come home? Oh, sweet Cheslie, why we'll just never know. Oh, Cheslie, why didn't you just come home? You could always come home. Deep beneath your beautiful brown eyes, there was a darkness that fooled us all. Wish we could have reached out and held your hand before you took that fall. Before you took that fall. Oh, sweet Cheslie, why didn't you just come home? Oh, sweet Cheslie, Your mama wants to know. Oh, Cheslie, why didn't you just come home? You could always come home. People have a need for love that they can't always show.
We've got to hold the ones we love.
30 seemed so old to you, with nothing else to do. Oh, Cheslie, why didn't you just come home? Oh, Cheslie, your daddy wants to know. Oh, sweet Cheslie, why didn't you just come home? You could always come home. You could always come home. You could always come home. Come home.
The Record Machine Show is a weekly radio podcast produced by Jimmy Howell Productions. All rights reserved. For information regarding distribution or adding this podcast to your website, please visit our contact page at therecordmachineshow.com to submit your request. Thanks for listening. See you next time on The Record Machine Show.
The Record Machine Show.